Hey Linda, it's Grant. I hope you're ready for a ton of information. I have a notepad to take some notes. 'Cause there's a lot that goes into this, but hopefully this will help you and at least point you in the right direction to kind of get you started. But kind of just starting out, looking at your website, you actually did a really good job on that. So if you built that yourself, good job. But what I'm going to be doing is comparing you to the biggest competitor, at least online, in the Temple area, which is Richard Fossum. So that's kind of who I'll be comparing you to because I know you were talking about Academy, which is where you're at, which you already own that space, so I wouldn't focus too much on that. In Holland as well, it doesn't even look like there's hardly anybody there, so I'll show you a way that hopefully will get you to be able to take over that space as well with very little work. But Temple is going to be a little difficult, and I'll show you how to do it. So here we go. So one of the things Google wants to see, one of the big things is content. The more content you have, the better. Google wants to see that you are, the subject matter expert per se, in whatever field it is. So in this case, obviously dentistry. So the more content that you have throughout your site, the better. Google usually wants to see about 1,500 words or so on the homepage. And so I would try to find some places in here to start adding in or sprinkling in some more content if you're able to. Because the way it works is you actually got a pretty good bit, so it's not too bad so far. But the way it works is Google's bots. They come crawl every day or so. They crawl every piece of content that you have on your page. So from left to right, top to bottom, they're crawling all this content, and they're trying to make something of it. They're trying to piece it all together with their bots. That you obviously you do dentistry and the academy area and these areas. Um, but the more content, the better. So talk about all the different services that you offer. Maybe talk about those some on your homepage, and then you can also even create service pages if you don't already have them, which looks like you do. But you could even beef those up as well. Anyways, that's that piece. And another thing, Google, they don't see this nice, pretty website that you've built. All they see, like I said, once again, is the content and all the code and everything that's wrote kind of behind it. So they don't see this picture and stuff here. So one thing you can do that helps you is you see right here, that's what your file, that's what your picture is saved as, is this. So one of the things I would do, if this was mine and I wanted to rank, say, in Temple, I would save these as my different keywords that I want to target. So in this case, I would do dentist, Temple, TX, and that's what I would save it as because Google sees behind the pictures. So Google is going to see that your picture is saved that, and that's a keyword that we want to target. So that's why we would name it that. And then one of the things, obviously, that we're trying to do, and we'll kind of get into it, I'll show you some of the keywords, but we want to sprinkle our keywords throughout all of our content that we have on our homepage or service page or anywhere else throughout the site. So like I just said, dentist, Temple, TX, that's one of the main keywords. So we try to sprinkle that throughout as many times as possible. But anyways, we'll talk about the metrics and stuff like that right now on why there's other guys outranking you and what you can do to hopefully take over that area. So here's a tool that I use. You see it up here. It's called Ahrefs. It is a paid service. So if you wanted to get it, I think they have like a 7-day trial that you might be able to get to use. But anyways, we throw your site in up here, and as you see, there's no data, and that's why I had asked you when the site was created, just because that's kind of told me it was pretty new. And then we go over here to the keywords that you rank for right now. We look at them, and it's Hallenstein Dental or Dearborn Dentistry. So really nothing for people actually looking for a dentist in any of the areas that you're looking for. And not only that, you can see here your position. You're on the 10th page and the 7th page for those keywords. We'll go into that a little bit more here in a bit. And then from that, you can actually see out of the keywords that you actually rank for, how many people are actually coming to your site, which in your case is 0. Now we come over here and we look at Dr. Fossum. So let's take a look at his website. I mean, he actually has done a really good job with his site. I mean, he's got a ton of information about us. He has all these different sections, services. You see all the different sections of services he has, and even when it comes to restorative, he's got different pages that link out to all this stuff. So he's ranking for a lot of keywords. He's even answering questions, which is awesome. That's one of the things Google wants to see as well, is that you're not only out here, trying to bring people into your, as customers and get them to pay you money. They want to see that you're actually out there helping everybody else on the internet as well. By answering questions, and stuff like that. So an FAQ page or even like a blog page. Blog pages are awesome. If you write some very, very authoritative content on different things, in the dentistry world, it could be all sorts of different things. And I'll show you how to search for different questions and stuff that people are actually searching for on Google. So that way you can target those and write some very long, 1,000, 2, 3, 4,000 word blogs. So that way, Google sees that you are the expert in that area. But so obviously, as you can tell, content's a huge player. But he has a lot of different pages. So, you can see up here, it says about 241 pages is what he has. So that's obviously something you could do is start adding pages as you go. But we look at his page, and he's got it laid out with some of his services and stuff out here. And you can see all these buttons like Meet the Fossum Dental Group is just going to take them over to probably the About Us. Same thing with these services. It's just going to take them down here to their service pages. So anyways, you see that. So content, that's like I said, big piece. But now let's go look at his rankings. So now we look at this, and his UR and his DR. That's kind of the power and trust that he has within Google. So it's a scale 0 to 100. In this case, his trust is about 27, which isn't really that high. It's really not too hard to get that. And 7, this is very, very low for a domain rating. So this is his power that he actually has within Google. So this is extremely low. The reason that he's actually ranking so well right now is just because the age of his website. I've seen it was from like 2008, I believe. So that's really what's helping him is just his age. But now here, these are the big key players right here. Backlinks and referring domains. This is what powers your website. This is what makes that number go up. And so 48, he really doesn't hardly have. That's suit, and you could easily beat that for the most part. But it is going to take a little bit just for the simple fact that he has been around a long time. And so we go look at his highest referring domains that he has. And so what these are is referring domains are different domains that are out there. So in this case, Care Credit, Yellow Pages, Local.Yahoo, where his name or his website is actually listed on their page somewhere. So in turn, when he gets his, www.richardfossumdds.com listed on these websites, it creates a backlink for him, which is what we were looking at right next to this. I'll go back so you can see it real fast. It creates a backlink for him. And so the more websites that you can actually get your website on, the more power and trust you're going to gain with Google. And so going through and kind of looking at what he has, he has some decent links here, but it's nothing that you can't beat. It's totally beatable. So the way I like to go in when I'm going, I have a competitor like this, and I want to go after them and beat them. I don't want to reinvent the wheel because obviously success leaves a trail, and in this case, Google's telling me that if I have everything that this person has, I can rank first. But obviously, we don't want to just do that. We want to get everything he has and then go above and beyond, so that way we crush him. And so in this case, what I like to do is I go in here, and you can click down here, and it'll show us where all of his links are. So if I were to click this right here, it would take me to the dentist.regional directory, which is just a directory, so that means you can get yours in there too, I'm sure. And go create my listing in here, and then I'd go down here, and I would do the same thing. I'd try to find every one of these, and then get your information in these same things. And if you can't get them for whatever reason, then like what I do is I'll just take down a note what this DR is. So in this case, we'll just say I can't get a link from this BizAD. It's a 45 DR, and there's 79 traffic. So then I know there's some ways to go out there. It's called guest posts, and there's a couple other ways you can do it. But I can find other sites that I can get listed on that have a higher DR than 45 and more traffic than this. So that way I know if I get this one, I get this one, but I can't get this one. But now I'm going to go get a link that outdoes this one. And then I'm going to keep going. If I can get that one, great. If I can get that one, if I can get this one, if I can't get this one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go find another link that's more powerful. So that way, by the time I get down to the bottom and I'm done, I have links that are more powerful than his. And then I also have, the same links as his. So there's no reason that I shouldn't take over, his position. And so this is the hardest part of SEO, is understanding backlinks. So that's where I would start really probably my research on, is figuring out and understanding backlinks. They're very tricky. And if you don't do them right, Google will penalize you, and they could definitely penalize your site. which is not a good thing. But let's take a look at this guy. So he's ranking for 1.6 thousand keywords, and he's generating over 730 people every single month to his website. So he probably converts a lot, and he's probably a pretty large practice, I would imagine. But let's take a look at some of his keywords, because this is what's going to tell us what we want to target, or in your case, what you would want to target and go after. So once again, these are the keywords or key terms that are out there that people are actually searching every single month. This is the volume. This is how many times they're actually being searched every single month. And the KD to pay attention to is the keyword difficulty. Once again, that's a 0 to 100 scale. The lower the difficult, as in this 0 right here, it'd be very easy to rank for. The higher the number, the harder it is to rank for. I can tell you now, not having much experience in SEO, these 20s and 21s and stuff like that, they're gonna be pretty difficult to rank for. Can it be done? Absolutely, but it will take a little bit of work, and you'll really have to broaden your knowledge when it comes to backlinks, because you can't just go out there and sling a bunch of mud at the wall and hope that it sticks. You actually have to kind of do it right, because these are a little difficult to get. But it's totally worth it, because look at this: dentists, Temple TX, 450 people every month that search that. This guy's in the number 2 spot, and he's getting 67 people every month out of that. And just so you know, when it's talking about this, when we talk about the number 2 spot, call it the organic section. It's going to be, when I say organics, it's going to be in this area down here. So in this case, he would be the number 2 spot, and this is called the organic section. So if you hear me refer to anything that's the organic, and we call this the Google My Business, or GMB. So there's that. So anyways, you can go through and you see all the different words that are out there that you could actually target. Dentists, Temple TX, dentist, Temple TX, dentist in Temple TX, dentists in Temple TX. There's another one here. Temple TX dentists, orthodontist, oral surgeon, dentist in Temple. So as you get the idea, you can go through, like I said, your highest competitors, find what he ranks for, and go after them. And these are, when we look at these keywords, these are all the keywords that we want to incorporate into our content in order to, tell Google, look, this is what I'm wanting to rank for, and this is what I do. These keywords right here, these are on nobody's site. These are just keywords that are out there that have the word dentist and Temple in them. So he may or may not be targeting, like this one right here. I don't think he's targeting, and this is a phenomenal one to go after. Temple Pediatric Dentist. You see it's a 0 KD here, which means it's very easy to rank for. And there's 250 people that search for it every single month, which makes that a home run. And then you got all these other ones: Temple Dentist, all the other ones we looked at. Pediatric Dentist, Temple TX, 0, 80 volume. You can just keep scrolling through here, and obviously cherry pick the ones that pertain to you, and then go from there. And so, we'll go over here. So I ran a site audit on your page real fast. Being that it's so new, it's only picking up that there's only one page that's actually being crawled right now. So it's not kind of giving you really too much good feedback. But you can see here the load time is great, especially on desktop, mobile, still good here. So I wouldn't focus on that at all. And then it comes down here, a couple issues. One page has low word count. We could click it and find out which page it was, but it doesn't really matter. It's probably your About Us page or something, or contact. That's not a big deal. But like I said, minimum that I like to put on my pages, even if it's just like a contact us now or something page, is 250 words. You have one page with no title. So titles are very important, because that once again tells Google and your viewers what you're about. So it's going to be this piece right here. That's the title. So that's what you need to name them. Once again, you want to try to fit your keyword in there wherever you can. So as you see how Dr. Fossum here has it says, it says dentist Temple TX. He's putting that keyword in there because that helps. And then there was a couple other ones I wanted to show you. So we talked about the title tag, long loading time, H1. So H1 headings are very, very important. That's actually is what tells Google when they go to crawl your site, or your pages. I'm sorry, because these are page specific, what your page is about. And so in this case, let me find one here. So in this case, his H1 is probably going to be this right here, this top one, which once again, he's talking about dental implants, Temple TX. Now Google knows, that's what he does, so it's going to rank him probably for that term. So those are very, very important. So make sure you go back through and do any title tags and H1s that you have. There's one other one. I don't see it now, but it's definitely something that you need to pay attention to because it may not have picked it up yet. But it's called your meta tags. Your meta tags are going to be this right here. These words, I think it gives you like 160 characters. Use them all. And you want to fit in your keywords as much as possible without making it sound stuffy. So obviously you don't want to say, if you're looking for the best dentist in Temple, Texas, call the Temple, Texas dentist, or whatever. You get the idea. You want to make it sound natural, but you want to try to fit your main keywords in this area. And this is what's going to suck them in. You got your title tag, you got your meta tag. This is what brings, viewers to click your site. So there's that. Now when we look at the Google My Business, like I said, I wouldn't mess with Academy. You're already, top dog there, so I wouldn't mess with it. As for Holland, usually it would be very difficult to try to rank your Google My Business listing or GMB in another city. But in this case, since I see here that none of these people are actually listed in the Holland area, it actually might be a little easy. So one of the first things that I would try if I were you, because obviously we could go out and create another GMB for the Holland area. And obviously it would probably rank first as soon as it goes live. But one of the things that you could possibly do is log into your Google My Business on the back end, and you'll see where it says places serviced or something along those lines, what places you service. Make sure you include Holland, Texas in there, and that way it might move you up. Now, if you already have it in there and you're still down here in this area, then your best bet's going to be to find an address in Holland and create another GMB that says Academy Dental Center, Holland, Holland TX. And that one will probably rank literally as soon as it goes live. It'll be the first one there. And then from there, I kind of mentioned to you that I don't know how it would really work to create a new GMB for Holland or especially Temple, because Temple, you can rank your site organically there, but having a GMB may be a little difficult just for the simple fact you have to show an address on here because obviously you guys service people. But I think you could probably actually get away with it if you were just to use an address and Temple, put it on there, because the great thing about dentist offices is people don't just Google Academy Dental Center and look for the address and go drive to it to go schedule an appointment. Everybody's going to call first. And so if you have an address I would find one, whatever the farthest outskirt area is of Temple, I would maybe find one in that area. So when people call and they, ask if you're available or whatnot, you can just tell them, hey, look, we're not in Temple, we're right outside of Temple. This is our address, and then give it to them. So that's kind of your call if that's something you'd want to do. But like I said, I have no doubt if you created one, you would in Holland, you would be in the #1 spot as soon as it went live. As for trying to compete in the Google My Business listings in Temple, this is going to be tough. As you see here, you got all these very established dentists that are already in here that have 1,300, 1,100, 530 reviews. That's going to be hard to catch. Those reviews alone will rank them, even though reviews really don't have too much to do with it, but that's a lot. One of the biggest things that you want to do when it comes to trying to rank your Google My Business listings, though, is getting your business information into different directories. And so the business information that I'm talking about is, in this case, we'll go with Fossum here. So your different directories, so Yellow Pages, Yelp, Foursquare, there's just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different directories out there. But the goal here is to make sure you go fill those out, get added into these different directories, and these are called citations. But the biggest thing you want to pay attention to is your name, your address, and your phone number have to be literally word for word, letter for letter, number for number. And if it's off, Google's not going to count it. They're not even going to see it. It's not going to help you. So to give you an idea, let's see if I can find one here. There we go. We'll just use this as an idea. So if they were to go type in this into a directory, Acre Wood Dental, and they were to leave out that hyphen and then they put temple and then everything else is correct, Google's not going to pick up on that and you get no credit for it. So make sure if you're going to do that, you go put it in as many directories as possible, and that's a big help. And then obviously you need to start getting reviews as soon as possible. And I have some tricks for that as well. But like I said, it's completely up to you on how you want to go about that. As for how to rank your website, though, we just talked about the backlinks and what that takes. But one of the things that I would do for this is make sure you put locations, create a location tab right here, and then create a little drop down that has locations, and it'll have a Temple location and have a Holland location. And then from there, that Temple one, you'd create that Temple one, and you would make it look just like a home page, because that's going to be the page that you're actually going to rank in Temple. That's where you're going to be sending all your backlinks to and all your power to. So we want it to look like a home page, to where when people come here and they see Temple, they're going to it's going to look like a home page for right there in Temple, Texas. And so you're going to do all this stuff, 1,500 words, lots of content. Make sure you're talking about all your different services, all that stuff. And then that's what you would start sending your backlinks to. But hopefully that is a good start for you. I know I probably just blew your mind because I shotgun blasted you with a ton of information. But if you have questions, like I said, watch this and then shoot me some questions if you got them. I'd be glad to try to help you out. And hopefully, like I said, this will work for you. And I look forward to hearing from you and seeing what you think.